It is a beautiful day in late January, and we have some things growing in the greenhouse. This is our first winter where I've been able to grow in the greenhouse at this time of year, so it's an experiment, and just gonna check on how things are doing inside the greenhouse. So since our last video, we've changed a few things in the greenhouse. In December, just after I had hernia surgery, came into the greenhouse and found mold on some of the wooden tables and some of the plants, specifically the tomato plant and the squash plant that I was trying to overwinter. So we changed out the shelving for this wire shelving, which is so much better for airflow. So I'm very happy with the change. And it gives us a lot more space too than the way I had it organized last spring when I used folding tables for starting plants, etc. So I think this is going to work out so much better. So now to check on what's actually been started this year so far. So again, it's January 2026, late in the month. I started some Bloomsdale spinach in this pot. It's not up yet, I just did that a few days ago. I'm gonna say a few weeks ago, I started some seeds in this tray, and I should have had the lights on them from the start, but I didn't, so they got a little bit leggy. The cilantro in particular. Anyway, we're growing cilantro, pansies, some orange thyme. The royal thyme does actually have some growth. So the royal thyme is the last one to start, but there is some growth just starting. It looks like only in 2 seed flats, or two spots so far. So, and then we have heartsease just for some happy, cheery, early spring flowers. On what else we have started, I have started some other spinach. What variety is this? Let me just find the tag. So this is giant winter spinach, which I started actually on the 29th of December last year. Not sure that that's very clear. Anyway, just trying to keep track for myself in the future of what works and what doesn't. So the giant winter spinach is also looking a bit leggy. This container was on the floor before, so it didn't actually have direct access to sunlight. So now that we have these new shelves, it's getting much more sunlight, so I expect an improvement in the legginess on that. Another similar situation over here with the there's the tag, sparkler radishes, which I probably planted at the same time. Yep, end of December last year. So there's a little bit of Swiss chard and some happy rich broccoli also in there from previous sowings, but expecting some improvement with those also now that they have access to sunlight. Now on the theme of what's in the greenhouse and alive at this stage, there's some dormant pepper plants. I'm not sure if I should be taking all the leaves off or not. They're an experiment this year, so they're alive, not thriving, but alive. And there's another dormant pepper, and there's 2 more in the corner. And then I have a couple of tomato plants that I tried to overwinter. They ended up with mold on them early on, so I cut them back and took all the leaves off, and they have resprouted a little bit, so not sure if they're going to make it or not, but this is a year of experimentation, so we'll just see how that works out. On something that doesn't seem to be working out so great right now is the baby eggplants that I tried to overwinter, and I don't think they made it. So that's just something to note, and I don't know if I'll keep trying eggplants. We don't eat a ton of them, so probably not a necessity in the garden. Then I have some cuttings of shrubs that I decided to try. So this flat over here has mostly evergreen huckleberries, which are native in our area, and I really enjoy them in the yard and thought I would enjoy having some more. This flat has some escallonia. They seem to be doing mediocre. This on first blush looks terrible. It's Daphne, and it's only when you actually look closer that you can see that the Daphne is actually blooming, and it is flushing out some new growth. So I'm going to leave it be and continue to water a little bit just to see if I can get those through the winter, because the Daphnes are amazing at this time of year. This is some cuttings. I don't think the rhododendrons were, they were an experiment, but the Lonicera, the Baggins Gold Lonicera, that's a workhorse in our garden. So I tried to take some cuttings of that to see if I could get those working over the winter time as well. The lemongrass is looking abysmal, but I'm going to wait until later in the spring and then cut that back. And I'm just hoping that the eucalyptus survives, and hope to get them through to the spring when they'll be a lot happier. The parsley is doing okay. I just harvested a bunch off of it the other day, so it looks a little bit puny, but I think it'll come back. So, and that's most of what's growing in the greenhouse. So I think we'll take a look at some of the other things that are growing so far this year. And just beside the greenhouse, we have this lovely little clump of helebores, and they're such a beautiful sight at this time of year in the early spring garden. I didn't trim back the leaves because they were looking pretty healthy, so we'll see if that was a good idea or not. But so far, just really enjoying those. They were new in the garden last year. There's a banana. You can tell what a mild winter this 2025-26 has been so far, because the banana is still upright. Other things that are upright are these grasses, which I just thoroughly enjoy the way the light plays on them and the movement, even in the faint breeze on this January day. And the garden is up. Some are up several inches at this stage. I really should probably be covering them with some leaves or compost. Just been a bit of a tricky winter between the hernia surgery, and now I've just been getting over an infection in a joint in my right hand, so it's been hard to do very much, but soon everything will be better and I will be able to get some leaves or mulch or compost on the garlic. Another thing that's growing, or hopefully starting to grow, are the first seeds that I've winter sown. So there's the usual suspects of onions, some black-eyed Susans, maybe I can just put a list on the screen so that I can keep track of what I've done so far. Since it is such a beautiful day, a little bit cool, I'm just going to throw on my jacket and do a little bit of pruning on some fruit trees. The hand is still sore, so I probably won't get a ton done. I might just try to do the strange grafted tree we have that has peaches and apricots on it and see if I can get that done today. So, off to the garden.